Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber Posadas Chihuahua, I am playing Blue-Green Solidarity. Solidarity is a high tide combo deck that goes off entirely on your opponent's turn. Rather than using Turnabout and Time Spiral and Candelabra of Tawnos, it uses Reset, blue-blue, cast a spell only during an opponent's turn after their upkeep, untap all lands you control. It's the deal of a lifetime, but you do have to build your deck using only instants. And the goal from there is just get multiple high tides going, reset a couple times, and then Cunning Wish to make your opponent draw their entire deck with Blue Sun Zenith, or deck them with Brain Freeze. Since we have the Green Splash, we've got some other options too. We could also go Hunting Pack, just make a bunch of 4/4s and hope that's good enough. And the brand new card, Sail into the West, can be got with Cunning Wish. It's a vote spell. If both players vote for Embark, or if both players vote for Return, then each player returns 2 cards from their graveyard to their hand. If Embark gets more votes or is tied, each player discards their hand and draws 7 cards. So this is Restock or Wheel of Fortune. Both of those modes are pretty good when you're in the middle of a high tide chain. The big concern for a deck like this one right now is, of course, Orcish Bowmasters. The only changes I made to the deck is I cut 1 Force Negation and 1 Opt to make room for 2 main deck Dress Downs. Dress Down shutting off Bowmaster is a lot better than something like Snap, which is in the sideboard if you need it. But because Bowmasters has Flash, the Snap might not even do what you need it to anymore. Dress Down shuts it down, keeps it off. The deck was already playing Mission Briefing, not Snapcaster Mage, so we don't need to worry about that. We are completely creatureless out here. I've played this deck on the channel before, quite some time ago. It was a lot of fun. I don't remember it being particularly powerful, but it is a lot of fun. It's a unique thing that only really exists in the Legacy or larger card pool. I'm a little suspicious of the Green Splash, I won't lie. I think that Sail into the West is a very cool thing to have in your wish board, but the Growth Spiral in a 19-land deck, I don't think we're going to hit that often. And opening up your deck, one of the strengths of High Tide is that all it does is just play basic islands until it wins out of nowhere. And we have wastable lands in our deck. And Wasteland is extra devastating because not only does it turn off the land in a normal Wasteland sort of exchange, it also represents X mana on your combo turn, where X is the number of High Tides times the number of times you tap that land, which could be a lot. I'm going to keep an eye on the Green Splash as we go, but this is mostly a mono blue deck with just some Growth Spirals involved. We don't have to fetch drop if we don't want it, and that's the deck. One important thing, normally when I get sent a deck like this, I at least goldfish it a few times, get a feel for the engines, and the way that Magic Online solo games work is it's always your turn, which means you can never reset, because there's only one player in the game. So goldfishing on Magic Online was not really an option because this just didn't work. I did as much as I could, but I have not actually executed this combo in recent years, despite my efforts to do so. Let's hope I don't mess it up. This is Posadas Chihuahua's Solidarity. I'm on the draw in round 1. A 1-lander with no 1-mana cantrips. I don't think I can keep this. A 1-lander with multiple 1-mana cantrips. I will keep this. And I think I'm actually going to send Brainstorm, as weird as that may seem compared to Opt and Consider, but seeing all your cards in a straight line and not getting Brainstorm blocked when all you need to do is hit land drops is pretty nice. This deck needs minimum 3 islands to go off with. You need to High Tide and then Reset, and then you untap 6 mana. You want as many as possible, you just sort of wait as long as you can. That's how this works. Uh-oh. Oh, we're losing our High Tide. Unless they're Doomsday, then they might strip the Force Negation and just bet that they're going to do better than us. I think Death Shadow takes High Tide and Doomsday takes Force Negation here. High Tide is gone. High Tide is symmetrical, by the way. You do have to be careful about giving your opponents extra mana to interact with you on your combo turn, or at least be cognizant of it. You frequently can't play around it, just be aware it's a thing. Another Thoughtseize, okay. Keep them coming. They were down to just cantrips. I'm gonna, I think, prioritize Consider. Ooh. I'm gonna need that eventually. Alright, I'll start investing. I need a High Tide, another land, and a reset before anything goes anywhere. And there's one of the pieces. There's the another piece. Okay. I guess I'm gonna opt and consider, looking for land number 3 and Meditate. Cycling Troll of Khazad-dûm, so it is Death Shadow. Unless Doomsday's adopted this, which I guess is possible. Reanimating that. Guess I'll cast some spells in response. Oh, there's Meditate. I'm getting every one of my called shots here. Get the island. Growth Spiral, that sucks. Okay. Missed on the island. There's an island. I'm not going to try to go off until I have to. I am just going to crack this fetch now. And I'm not going to respect Growth Spiral. Just get basics. This is a Wasteland deck. No thanks. The cool thing about this deck is you could just go off in response to a Thoughtseize. Yeah, there's Wasteland, played around that. Another land. Every land is helpful. That's more mana when it's go time. If they've been sitting on a Force of Will this whole time, we could be in trouble. If they Bowmaster in our end step, we could also be in trouble. I need them to try to get clever with that on their turn. Till we're dead. Okay, so I guess I'm going to have to try to go off on their turn before combat, because if they connect with this 6/6 or 6 power creature, I'm out of luck. But I can draw 10 cards before I'm dead. Okay, High Tide. Float 6, reset, and then Meditate. I'm going to get hit for 4 with the Bowmaster. It also grows the army for 4. This puts lethal on the board if it resolves. It did resolve, okay. I can also respond to Bowmaster triggers and just go off above them. That's really exciting. Alright, well, that's a thing that I had not considered. Alright, I'm going to put those triggers over there and continue moving forward with my life. I have to go for a blue win con. Cunning Wish gets actual instants, not enchantments with flash. I could snap with one of them. I'm deciding if Cunning Wish or Brain Freeze makes more sense to start here. Or not Brain Freeze, Brainstorm from my hand. I think I want to Brainstorm. If this misses, we're just out of gas. But I think that's where we go. Uh-oh. Well, there's 2 Cunning Wishes going to get it done here. Storm is 4, not even close. But you can wish for Veil of Summer too and turn off Bowmaster triggers. That's a line that I did not play towards. Yeah, without another reset, without a mission briefing in the sideboard, we are just kind of out of gas here. I have 8 mana. I can Cunning Wish for Blue Sun Zenith, and then Zenith for 0, because I would need mana up to reset. That's the only out. And I'm Brainstorm locked. Yeah, we're just dead. Okay. Okay, the green splash turning off Bowmaster triggers is interesting, but also they had Wasteland in play basically that whole game. That would have been a good board for Sail into the West too, but again, they had Wasteland. I guess if I float a fetch land around, I can fire off green once, but they could still waste me mid-combo. Is still a problem. I don't know, that's tough. I'm also wondering if Kahira is actually good. Like, we get it, it's air quotes free, but it's not free. It costs a slot in our wish board. And I don't think 3/2 beatdown's ever going to be our plan. The best thing Kahira's doing is we could spend 3 to turn on Force of Vigor, which is probably important some percentage of the time. Because there's not a lot of green cards in the deck, but Force of Vigor can be important. I think I'm going to cut Force of Negations, because Veil of Summer interacts with most of their interaction, and this is just a tighter thing. Okay, I can keep this hand. It has Veil of Summer and access to green. I'm susceptible to Wasteland if I do this, but if I get to blow out a Thoughtseize, I'll accept that trade. Ponder, you got it. That means that they can't daze my Veil on a future Thoughtseize anymore. Chose to shuffle the Ponder. Good news. Okay, I've got 2 resets, Meditate, bunch of lands, and Protection. We need a High Tide. Tropical Island. I don't like having that in my hand at all. Cycling Troll in the end step. There's the Underground Sea. They're just playing Drago against me. That's terrifying. Gives me more time to set up, but setting up doesn't matter if I don't have the payoff. Once I find a High Tide, I'll feel like we're actually making headway here. I'll Brazen B. 3-1 beatdown, start the clock. You got it. I don't normally endorse fetching to thin, but we're looking for a specific thing, and our basic islands are pretty safe. As long as I keep access to Trop up, I'm cool with it. I think I have room to pop Kahira in my hand if I even care about that. Sure, Kahira's in my hand now. For basically no reason. Force of Vigor's not in my deck. I'm not casting this card. I don't play Solitude. Fetch lands just keep coming here. Gonna run out of fetchables and life points eventually. Wow, another Brazen Borrower. We are dead next turn. Cool. Well, we're in a lot of trouble. There's a lot of fetch lands. They're attacking in chunks of 6. I guess I'm just gonna crack 2 of these fetch lands in the end step and hope for the best. Have to imagine their hand is just straight hecking gas at this point. I do have enough lands where it's possible to meditate into High Tide, reset, and then go from there. Like, I don't have to start the chain on High Tide when I have 7 mana available. I did not shuffle their library. They're casting Dothy Voidwalker. That's kind of bad for me. I do play Mission Briefing as a pretty relevant part of my deck. Okay, I'm done on board anyway. I'm just getting these lands out of the way. I'm going to leave 1 fetch land in case Brainstorm becomes involved in my plan. Oh, there's Brainstorm. Let's give it a shot. They're currently tapped out of Bowmasters. Come on, High Tide. It's your time to show up. All right, we found a High Tide. Here's a use for Kahira. Put it back in my deck off of Brainstorm. We found it. We solved it. Tropical Island, and I'm going to fetch now. Get another Tropical Island. At this point, I'm committed. All right. We're going to get a shot here. The super dangerous thing here is if they just leave Dothy Voidwalker up, my Veil and everything will end up in the void. If my Veil of Summer resolves, I actually feel pretty good about my chances. I kind of hope they lead on a Thoughtseize. Like, if they Thoughtseize, I High Tide in response. They fight over High Tide, I Veil of Summer. I get to hit their counterspell and their Thoughtseize off 1 Veil. The most annoying thing they could do is just go to combat and just with the Brazen Borrowers. Okay. They have led on Thoughtseize. I'm going to respond with High Tide. If Veil of Summer ends up in the void, I don't think I can actually win. I can... Oh, I would have to dress down Voidwalker at somewhere in the chain. That's how that works. And if they Veil in response to dress down, then I have to make a bunch of beasts, answer both their Brazen Borrowers, and win in combat next turn. That's not pretty. They're in the tank on this High Tide. Surgical's targeting Scalding Tarn. Okay. I do have one of those in my hand, but whatever. This is good information for them to have. Basically casting Peak right now. And building Storm to do it. They saw my hand and they're still casting Force of Will. That's probably bad for me. I will walk my Veil of Summer into whatever this is. They can still meditate for another free counter. Alright, meditate. Has to find a force here. And Daze will lock me out of the game. Okay, GG. I think Dothy Voidwalker already had me locked out of the game because if I counter force, then I have a force in the void anyway, and then they just sack Voidwalker, counter Veil, and win the stack. Yet I had time to sculpt. Like, we were able to put a pretty solid win attempt on the stack here with protection, but not well enough. They were also sculpting while adding to the board. GG's, on to the next one. You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7-Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7-Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7-Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. and don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factors YouTube for every episode of Dev Better. I'm on the play for round 2. We've got ourselves a Pokemon battle. I brought Kahira, they brought Yori in. I have High Tide and Meditate in my opening hand. I'm going to keep this. Mission briefing. If I find a reset, we've basically got the setup here, and we'd just be looking for protection. Looks like we've got a Delighted Halfling Blue Zenith deck. Growth Spiral, interesting. I mean, this is reasonable here. I am just going to main phase it. I played this standard format. I know how important this card is. Don't let him Spell Pierce it, or Mystical Dispute it, as was the way in that format. Bad news, though. If they play an uncounterable Teferi Time Raveler, we lose. Literally dead. I don't think there's a reasonable out to that card. Shit. Please don't do that. Oh my god. This looks like it's happening. Well, let me tell you, folks. I'm going to view my sideboard real quick. We have 1 Chain of Vapor in the deck. And there is no out to this in the main. We have to Cunning Wish for Chain of Vapor, bounce the Teferi, untap, and... or let... oh, we have to bounce the Teferi and have enough mana to High Tide reset on their turn before they just replay it. Yikes. Well, I could just concede here. That's an option. I could also meditate and just gas up. If I meditate, the jig is up. It's kind of disgusting how close this is to that standard format, by the way. Deeply flawed standard format where Growth Spiral combo, the Team of Reclamation deck was the best deck, and the best thing to do against it was sneak a Teferi through on their Growth Spiral turn. Look at this. Look what just happened. I'm having flashbacks of that awful Pro Tour. Okay. I think if I meditate and give away everything about my deck, that's worse than just conceding here. Yikes. Okay. And the deck just literally doesn't work. We don't even have an Otawara. Woof. That was unsatisfying as both a player, and I'm sure it was unsatisfying as content. But I think my best chance to win this match is to not reveal exactly what I'm up to right away. Jeez, there's not even a good answer to that. Yeah, there's not even... and I could bring in Snap and try to clip the Halfling. I am on the play, so I could clip the Halfling on the play and buy myself 1 turn to try to do anything. The forces are nice if they don't have Halfling. Holy moly. I think I'm going to cut a Growth Spiral for a Snap, and that might be as good as it gets, I hate to say. Okay, I'm going to keep another solid hand. This one has Force of Will for a non-Halfling fueled Teferi. They are an 80 card deck, which makes the exact line of Halfling into Teferi less likely than a 60 card deck, but here we are. Do I have to force Halfling? Maybe that's the line. Yeah, if I force Halfling, at least they can't shove Teferi for 2 turns, and when they do, I can counter it. Gross. I hate this. I want to be on the other side of this so bad. I will need land number 3 at some point, but I think I'd rather dig for spells right now. Cool, we got a reset. We found another cantrip. I need land number 3 and High Tide to get things started. Do not shuffle their Ponder. Consider Growth Spiral into the bin. Through the land. Okay. Show me a High Tide. Give me a chance here. Cunning Wish. Okay. We could fire off a value Cunning Wish if that feels like it's going to be appropriate. What's in my value wish pile? I could grab Veil of Summer. I could grab Sail into the West. Doesn't even seem good, though. Good chance I'm going to have to force it to Teferi here. Please just guess 4th Aerolingus. Okay, it is 4th Aerolingus. They become the Monarch, but I'm way less worried about that than I was about Teferi. Do I want a Cunning Wish here? If so, what do I get? I could grab a Sail into the West. That's not helpful here. And grabbing the Growth Spiral I boarded out is not nothing. I could invest in Veil of Summer here. All right. I'm going to expose myself to Wasteland. Don't like it, but having some protection on this combo turn probably going to be important if I get to a combo turn. Yeah, it's between Veil or Sail into the West. Sail into the West even helpful for me. They have 5 cards in their hand. Maybe I am into a fresh 7. No, I think I need to shove Veil through, because I don't really trust Force of Will anymore. I'm at a critical mass of needing cards in my hand. You get to be the Monarch. There's High Tide. That's cool. Do I grab Kahira here and just use my life total as a resource? I believe that is the case. Kahira can be material to pitch to a Brainstorm. I do like that. And I don't like it, but I'm not doing anything else. They said wishing for Veil is terrifying. I agree. I would be worried if I was in my opponent's slot, not knowing what your opponent's other 5 cards in hand are. However, I do need a Meditate to get things moving here. 1 ring, that's fine. I wasn't going to die this turn cycle anyway. I'm already buried by cards. Go ahead, enjoy your protection from everything. DGAF. Mission Briefing. What does that do? That can cast Consider or Reset. Okay. I just have to pass this turn anyway. Really disappointed I missed that land drop. Another Monarch trigger. Ring's good for 2 cards now. They're going to have to go to cleanup. I'm already fully invested on my counterspells getting this done. So this opt kind of sucks, but I'm doing it. I would like a land. Cool, we did it. Found the land drop. Yeah, they're going to have like 10 cards in their hand to defend with by the time it's go time. I can combo off in response to a ring activation, though. That's a thing, if I want it. Cycling Lorien revealed. More interested in a Tundra than a blue card or a draw 3. Makes sense not wanting the draw 3. You have that covered. Carpet of Flowers. I mean, yep. I am certainly susceptible to that card at all times. Mystic Sanctuary targeting what? Lorien or 4th Aerlingus. Okay, so they can Lingus for 1 million next turn. Okay, this is my last turn I get to develop. Okay, they hit me with the horse. I'm at 8. They get a carpet that's good for 3. They put Yorion in hand. Is there anything that I want to pick up with Mystic Sanctuary? That is an option right now. I could grab a second Force, but then I have to go to cleanup. I lose Kahira. Force isn't helpful here. I don't think that's the line. Just going to let them go to cleanup, discard 3 cards. Gross Spiral. This card is not good. It is a blue card I could pitch to Force. I'm going to go to cleanup, drop Kahira, and we're going to have to combo off on their turn. Instead, Brainstorm from them. I don't actually even know what my plan is here, I'm being honest. Like, I don't have a Meditate to loop. My High Tide will double their mana. Every land they have is an island. We know they have 4th Aerlingus in hand. If they play Teferi, I'll go off in response. I could respond to this ring activation with High Tide and see where it goes. I think I'm going to pass on that. That might have been my window. It's really tough to know. Because if they don't elbow tap an Aerlingus that represents lethal, then I'm just going to develop another turn. But this looks like the lethal Lingus coming. It's a lot of mana in the pool. 14 cards in hand. Is that all? Okay, High Tide in response. Yeah, now I'm kind of wishing I didn't let them draw 4 cards before trying to combo. Though this did tap them out of a lot of mana. Not just the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 they paid for this, but or 8 they paid for this. Yeah, not just the 8 they paid for this, but also the 1, 2, 3, 4 they would have gotten from High Tide. So they have 12 less mana than if I had gone off in response to ring activation, but they have 4 more cards in hand. Interesting puzzle to solve. And they know I have Veil. Okay, they're casting a force into the known Veil of Summer. Well, I'll oblige. Let's figure out how many more forces there are over there. Do you main deck a Spell Pierce or Fluster? I hope not. Another force, pitching Lorien Revealed. Force, your force, pitching Growth Spiral. And this is it. If they have a third force, we're in trouble. Oh dear, Veil just resolved. And I spiked the Meditate. We're cooking, kids. I'm not going to give them any horses. I'm just going to keep going off right now. Get another Trop. Might as well reset. Untap all my lands. Now I have 10 mana. I probably want to start with Meditate. See where it goes. Save my mission briefing to know if it needs to be a reset or a high tide. Storm is already 8. Wow, that was bad. Okay. Terrible, terrible hit on that. The Storm is 8. If I mission briefing reset, I can make a lot of beasts. And they are at 8 from all their shenanigans. Hunting pack. Make a 4/4 beast. I have more beasts than you have horses. Maybe I should have let them go to combat here. I don't know if that was even an option. Okay. I could also Flusterstorm the 4th Aerlingus after all of this. Okay, I think that's the line. Okay, that's 7 mana. It costs... Or mission briefing could still hit something else too. Don't float everything. I just float off islands, then I cast mission briefing and see what it hits. Okay, well, I'm going to put both of these into my graveyard. Graveyard. Let me actually count the mana. I need 10 left over at the end to beast out. I'll have 5. And then I can use 2 of it to reset. I'll have 3 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That looks like exactly right if I've counted correctly. All right, reset. Let's do it. Gotta put greens in the pool. This is 11, as I hoped. Cunning Wish. Just make sure the beast card costs green. All right, it does. Cunning Wish. Or Hunting Pack. I'm going to Flusterstorm the 4th Aerlingus first. And then make a gajillion beasts. Okay, if they have a second One Ring, they can Time Walk me and then start figuring it out. They can kill some of these beasts with removal spells. Their lands do tap for 2 right now. Right, I'm just going to Hunting Pack in response to Flusterstorm so I can get my F6 value. Here they come. Beast mode activate. Okay. They can't Supreme Verdict here because you get an extra blue. Okay. Beast mode activate. Good chance they have a second One Ring. I don't have a force to stop it. And now we chill, I guess. And see if they can answer 13 beasts. They ringed in the end step when they were going to discard anyway, probably looking for Uro to try to get something that's bigger than a beast and gain some life going. Discarded Cast into the Fire. Okay. Oh, I meditated. That's right. I forgot about that. Okay, yeah, they get the first crack here. And they immediately lose protection from everything. I did only meditate once. That's lucky. Honestly, if they didn't have One Ring, I would feel really bad about that, forgetting about meditate. Means I don't have Force of Will up. Yeah, they need a sweeper or a massive outpouring of life gain and creatures right now. Yeah, I'm just gonna have 6 then. This is all I have. I'm out of gas. My 52 power worth of beasts win the game, or they don't. That's all I got. I got a bunch of red in the pool. Hate that. Are they gonna Aerlingus me and just have many horses to block my many beasts? Can they out-beast me? A Ponder picks up the Aerlingus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11. They can make 9 horses. That's still fewer than I have beasts. But they're not even going all the way in on Aerlingi. They are leaving some mana up for other stuff. Hate that. I think we determined in a previous video that the plural of Aerlingus is Aerlinguinuses. 7 horses is the number. Swords to Plowshares. Getting to work there. Makes some sense. I still have more beasts. By enough to be lethal. Yeah, this is still lethal. I need 2 of them to get through. Heck yeah! I win the token mirror. Let's go. They had insufficient Linguinuses. Alright, we gotta figure out... We gotta solve for Teferi again. I think one of the veils should be in the main, one of the dress downs should be out. I like being able to wish for one. Surgical, they did loop a bunch of stuff that game, but I still think just throwing fastballs down the middle is how I win the game. And we have to dodge exactly halfling into Teferi. Okay, in we go. If opponent cut their sweepers last game, then they're probably back in this game. They had 2/3 of their 80 card deck in their hand. I imagine if there is a tool in the 75, they're able to find it. I'm going to keep this hand. It's got interaction and stuff to do. That's where I want to be. Please don't make me force another halfling. Okay. That one I don't need to force. It's annoying, but it doesn't make an instant GG Golden Gun magic card uncounterable, which is what I'm worried about. Oh, there's that jerk. Well, I can bet against Teferi, or I can force this, but if I force this, I don't have force for Teferi. I think I just have to take my medicine and hope they don't have it. Ponder. There is no playing around Carpet of Flowers here. I'm gonna give them a fistful of mana next turn. A Mighty Fist. Consider Cunning Wish. I already have one of those. Alright, I have ramp into... I guess I can't ramp into Brains. I could ramp into Brainstorm if I want to. I decided to play around Carpet a little bit rather than throw Spiral for maximum efficiency. This looks like Minsc and Boo. Oh, it's One Ring. That's fine. What a world we live in where I'm excited that it's the One Ring. I'm going to grow Spiral in response. Let's just get it going here. There's Reset. And they're drawing cards. I do have an open window to go off in response to a Teferi here if the deck is cooperative in those efforts. I'm going to brainstorm now and try to make this hand good. Well, if I get another turn, there's some action here. I think I'm going to put both wishes back. Like, I could High Tide into Reset into into Veil of Summer, into Cunning Wish in response to a Teferi here. I don't know where that goes, but I mean, it's there. And they have infinite mana. Making green. You generally don't cast Teferi with green. The only white mana on the board is out of the halfling. Okay. Making a blue legendary spell. Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath. Irrelevant. Okay, I like this. I like where it's going. I don't like that I'm brainstorm locked. But I like that Teferi didn't come into play. Life from the Loam targeting Flooded Strand. That does make white. They do have a land drop. Okay, we didn't get Teferi'd. The top cards in my deck are both Cunning Wish right now. I don't want a mission briefing just to clear them, because they actually are cards I want. So I'd rather have a land than anything here. Going to clean up here. Is that an option? Because it has to be. I discard a Cunning Wish. If I get another turn to operate, like if they just play Uro or something that doesn't matter, I'm perfectly happy mission briefing for Consider and just loading up the hand and graveyard, finding my next land drop. I'm discarding a Cunning Wish here. I'm on my last one, by the way. I think there's only 3 in the list. Oh, yep, there are 3. I discarded 2 of them in hand size already. This is where we are. This is where we live. They dredged Loam and the Terminus. That's gone. But they have Mystic Sanctuary. Doing ring stuff. Uh-oh. White legendary mana in the pool. Well, it's go time, like it or not. High Tide in response. Red Blast. That's hardly fair. My deck is mono blue. Veil of Summer. They've both cast a green card and they've cast a blue card and they're trying to counter one of my spells. Veil does do everything I needed to here. All right, I'm gonna force pitching one of the briefings, keep the Cunning Wish, and fingers crossed. All right, my shit's uncounterable. There's that land that would have made this a lot easier. Pyroblast resolves, but doesn't work. High Tide resolves. Gonna reset from here. Storm is 7. Can I get up to a pile of beasts? Can we win in that fashion twice? I can go... Storm is 7. They're an 80 card deck. I'm nowhere near... I'm not going to get to Blue Sun Zenith this turn. I'm nowhere near Brain Freeze. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I have 2 floating. And then I can reset. I would have 2 floating after the reset. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not enough to wish for beast mode. Dang, what can I even do here? I can Wheel of Fortune. That might be what I have to do. All adventures here start with mission briefing, though. Okay, force a negation into the graveyard. I'm actually going to leave the High Tide on top. Because if I Wheel of Fortune into it, that's a pretty reasonable one. And I'm going to choose a reset here. And then green, green, blue, blue. Leave 1 green for the reset. Cunning Wish for the wheel. This really is it, right? 10. Yeah, they have 56 cards on their deck. Brain Freeze not going to happen. All right, sail into the west. The west. What's the west? I don't know. I don't know if this even works. I think I'm 1 short, even if we hit here. What? Yeah, this doesn't even work. What am I doing? Doesn't matter. Okay, we're dead. This 1 land would have made a huge difference, and we're just going to lose to uncounterable Teferi again. If I vote for return, I lose, so we have to embark. I just want to point out here, my concerns from the deck tech. I mean, Veil of Summer has been excellent, but there are 2 Growth Spirals in my graveyard in a game where I'm on these tiny resources. Really, just 1 more mana would have set this off. But yeah, all right, I think I'm just gonna have to try to go for something on my turn, which is not normally how this deck works, but got your card. These 2 Growth Spirals in the graveyard plus this 1 in the hand are all largely ineffective cards in a matchup where I was like 1 land away. Like if those were just opt instead of Growth Spiral, I think they're better, even at solving the specific problem of finding more lands, which is the problem I was trying to solve. They're going to do stuff now, and then I can try to make a bunch of beasts on my turn. I don't get to reset. Maybe it's just not possible. And with my Cunning Wishes gone, 2 of my mission briefings are gone too. I have 1 mission briefing that can Cunning Wish for the Chain of Vapor. Yuck. There are 3 of these in the deck, right? Yeah, there's 3 of these, 3 of these. Okay, don't like this. Yeah, I'm actually pretty sure we just can't win. But we were 1 mana short. It's turn 5 and we have 3 lands in play. Like, after missing 2 land drops, 1 land drop would have been the difference there. Could have kept the party going. Maybe I can trick them into dying to their own ring if I meditate enough times. I'm gonna Growth Spiral. Nothing. Alright, we don't need to play this out. Missing a land drop is basically a death knell here, uncounterable Teferi, a death knell, and they met in the middle, and we still made a shot out of it, you know? Like, we did win that fight. We got through the wall, and the problem was our own resources on the other side. Alright, tough beats, but that was a sweet match. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play in round 3. I have a high tide, I have a mission briefing, I have some interaction. Eat. Island go. Saving my fetch lands. Uh-oh, it's the mirror match. It's not the mirror match. Oof. This would be a great person to dress down, but I don't have it up. Grief pitching, Troll of Khazad-dûm. Leading on Island, though. I mean, we're not getting reanimated this turn, but they do get to know what we're up to. I honestly feel like a casual commander player mentality when I'm playing a deck like this. Oh, we're Doomsday. Never mind. I'll finish that thought. Oh, we're show and tell. That's so much worse. We're so messed up. Okay, I think I'd rather advance a land drop here. Archon, okay. Dress down can time walk for a turn, but I think I just have to Miracle Spike here and hope that this rampant growth they gave me does what it needs to. Anyway, I'll finish the thought. Casual commander. I just want to do my thing, and nobody's letting me. Like that, come on, let me do it. Don't concede. Really? You have interaction? Been sitting here all night. I just want to do my thing. Even if you have it, you don't have to cast it. That's how I feel playing this deck. You just need so many things to go right against the most hyper-efficient nonsense in Magic's history. Okay, there's an Archon trigger on this deck. I think I have to discard the island and just hope that my draw step delivers reset. I don't even know if that helps. I think it makes more sense to try to high tide into Brainstorm on their turn. Okay, in combat, I'm going to high tide. I just don't even have cards laying around anymore because Archon has knocked 2 bonus ones out of here. I don't even know where this goes in the best case scenario. Okay, and they had force. GG. Yeah, the upside of traditional Spiral Tide, like the sorcery speed version, is that deck kind of plays non-magic for a while. Like, there's nothing to target with a removal spell. It doesn't care about its life total. All it does is play basic islands and then eventually shoots a super sturdy shot to win. As cool as Reset is, I think that we are losing a lot of points by trying to be Reset Tide Solidarity instead of Spiral Tide. If Veil of Summer helps against the grief stuff, and I don't think any of these other cards are helpful. Dress Down could clip grief. I'm just really not impressed by Growth Spiral. I don't believe this is worth what we've done to the deck to play it. Not even close. I'm gonna keep my hand. I didn't show them green last game. Hopefully they just ram a grief into Veil of Summer here. Because I'm pretty sure I didn't have to fetch because I was already dead. Lotus Petal. Oh, I'm gonna have to show them the green here. This is where they reveal they're a Stifle deck. I would lose my mind. Consider High Tide, keep it. Okay, High Tide Meditator here. I need land number 3 and reset. They're doing something. They're just cracking a fetch land and passing. Okay, they could have Bowmaster here. I have Veil if I care, which I don't. Keep the Misty Rainforest. Yeah, I would have just ignored a Bowmaster there. All right, I've hit my land drop, and now we're in the squeeze. I can shoot a shot if I draw a reset. I would rather reset with have reset and a 4th land, but it's going to be tough to have both of those things at the same time. I'm also not convinced. I was a little skeptical on the deck list, but I'm extremely skeptical having played 2.5 rounds with it now. I don't think 4 reset, 3 mission briefing is enough untap effects. Like Spiral Tide has Turnabout and the Time Spiral itself, plus sometimes plays Candelabra. They got a lot going on that this deck is really reliant on a single spell for. I drew a Force. They played Draw Go. They have a Troll in the graveyard now. Land number 5, or Mana Source number 5 being played. Right, where are we? Are we on Hardcat's Grief phase of the game? We are. Okay. In the Veil of Summer. Grief arrives. 3/2 Menace. I spiked the land. Now I need a reset. Briefing. That can be Veil of Summer if I need it to be. Now my life total is under some pressure. They're cracking for land number 5. Troll costs 6, so it's not that unless they Lotus Petal one out. Another grief. Okay. Mission briefing. I'm going to mill both these actually because I just want to reset in my life at this point. I can refire Veil of Summer. Oh, that's worth a Force of Will all of a sudden. Fascinating. Okay, I've got some options here, which are pitch one of the meditates to keep a force around for insurance, or I could just force pitch force and bet on myself. I'm going to do that. Force of Negation, pitching Force of Will. Veil of Summer's a rebuy. Alright, I found another force anyway. Mystic Sanctuary does exist now. Is that how I want to do this? I don't think so. Yeah, reset. Okay, ding, 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 ding. We can make a shot at a win now. Though my life total is still a resource. I can take a hit here. I can buy Mission Briefing back to the top of my deck. Or, yeah, there's no sequencing where I can tap Mystic Sanctuary for mana and also get back my reset. Not a thing. Okay. Understood. I'm at 10. I can also go off in response to a show and tell. Or a Thoughtseize. Alright. I guess it's time. Whether we like it or not. Okay, High Tide. I boarded in both my Veils. I do think they're better in the deck than in the Wish package, so there wasn't a Wish for Veil line available here. Get it available. I'm here all week. Tip your waitress. So they're Force some Negationing. With one card left in their hand, I'm going to force some negation. I'm deciding if I need Meditate or Cunning Wish more. Honestly, I think I'm more interested in Meditate. They have 41 cards in their deck. Storm is 3. It's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's a long way to Brain Freeze here. And if I Meditate, Hunting Pack sucks. Yeah, that's a nombo in the deck. The Hunting Pack, Meditate, Juke. Like, if you have to get onto Hunting Pack, then you just skip a turn or two and let them figure it out. That's rough. I can't hardcast Force here. I think I'm going to try to go big for Brain Freeze or Blue Sun. And if I go big, I'm going to need Meditates. I understand that Cunning Wish is the thing that gets those cards, but I'm not close to them being useful. Okay, High Tide has resolved. And now I can do stuff. I can put High Tide on top, get another one going. Mystic Sanctuary, rebuy High Tide. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4 is exactly enough to meditate into the High Tide and then reset. We'll put some green in the pool. Reset. Cunning Wish has arrived. Meditate just costs 1 land now. Okay, here we go. My life is shit. Not close to... Is there a value Zenith here? Brain Freeze. Storm's currently 8. I can make it 9, 10, 11. That's 33 cards, and I'm still dead on board. Nope, not going to do it. I guess it's time for another Wheel of Fortune, which I don't really want to do against this deck, but it's where we are. Yeah, Blue Sun, I can draw... There's 3 High Tides active right now. I can make 8 mana. I can draw 3 cards and still have a shot at reset versus drawing 7 and hoping that their interaction's bad. Yeah, I think that's probably the one. Okay, we're sailing into the west. And I'm choosing Embark. I have 2 Time Walks in the hole. I am not getting another turn this game, just to the onboard grief, so we got to go for the Gusto. Remember when I drew 8 cards and they were mostly lands? That was cool. Fresh Grip. The reset is here. There is no help for it, but we could get something going here, I suppose. Let's see if I can bait counter on a Mission Briefing first. Or am I supposed to Brainstorm? You don't counter Mission Briefing. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Maybe I just put the reset on the stack, and if I have to Brainstorm for free interaction and response, I go for it. I should tap this for green. Make blue, blue, green. That means I can Brainstorm into Veil. there's one in the deck. Here's the reset. Oh, we just got to reset. Interesting. And letting a blue duck draw 7 is scary, but it's possible they just didn't get there. Now I have 2 mission briefings. I think I want to start with Brainstorm, because I can use briefing to clear the bad cards. Put back these fetch lands that are not helping anymore, and a bunch of card selection now. I think I want to briefing a reset here. Graveyard both of these. Untap all my stuff. Storm is 15 now. Brain Freeze is lethal unless they have Emrakul in their deck, which is not only possible, but likely, I imagine. Okay, I have a Flusterstorm for this. That's fine. I'm going to put a couple copies on the Thoughtseize. Not that it matters. This Thoughtseize is not going to change the game. Their Thoughtseize and their Force of Will are now both countered. I'm resetting myself. How do I play around Emrakul? It would cost me 37 mana to dome them with Blue Sun Zenith. Beast mode doesn't work anymore. I could Cunning Wish for Surgical and exile Emrakul when I see it. Is there a Cunning Wish in my graveyard? Where are my Cunning Wishes? Nope, I'm on my last Cunning Wish. 2 have been used already, 1's in my hand. That's not going to work. Basically, I just have to hope they don't play Emrakul. I guess I can cast this Consider pretty freely. Dress down, not helpful. Dress down, drew the other dress down. Perfect. Okay, I guess I just have to freeze them and hope they don't have Emrakul. There's no Stifle in the deck. And the draw 7 on Sail into the West is optional. It's not like I can get them low enough on cards that then I can wheel. Alright, Cunning Wish. You're on the stack, homie. Or do I start with Dress Down? Maybe I Dress Down first. Get the redraw. And then Cunning Wish. Let's hope they're more of a Reanimator deck than a Show and Tell deck, though we have seen Show and Tell. Okay, Brain Freeze you. Okay, cool. They don't have an Emrakul. Or at least they did in that game. We got a game. We did it. Getting up to the necessary 30, 40 plus mana to win with a Zenith seems so hard in this build. I don't know what the squeeze is here. Maybe if these growth spirals are just turnabouts, we're feeling better about the whole situation. Like, I feel it really hard to get into that stratosphere level stuff that the Spiral Tide deck can do. But I'm going to cut Growth Spiral for Surgical Extraction, just in case they do have an Emrakul in their 75, and now that they've seen what I'm doing, they bring it in. And we've seen Grief, Troll of Khazad-dûm, and Archon of Cruelty. Good chance they're just a deck where Surgical's viable anyway. I'm going to keep Grief, pitching Grief. Alright, well, I'm not going to force this. You have your peak. Taking Dress Down, fascinating. Suddenly care about that card. Ooh, that's a good one to have after they look at my hand. I'm going to consider off of a basic. I don't want Veil of Summer on their radar at all. Keep Reset. We're going to need it eventually. Got Reset, Meditate, Force. Need land number 3 and High Tide at minimum. And they left me with Force of Will, so whatever they're planning to do here, they're clearly not worried about that. Animate Dead. Okay, they're going to have a 2-2 with no abilities. Or it will have Menace. I lied. They're going to have a 2-2 with Menace. Am I getting flustered? Yep, disappointing. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to force the Animate, pitching, Briefing. Don't like it, but this is where we are. They have 2 cards left in their hand. They have 2 cards to my 3. Land would be cool. I don't mind a value Meditate here. Nice. Okay, so I can mission Briefing up Veil if that's appropriate. I can also just Meditate if they don't seem to be doing anything. Gas up, as Garfield intended. They have a 4-drop. If it's grief, I'm going to Brief. Yeah, alright. I'm going to Brief the Veil. I'm going to keep both of these cards, actually. Or, yeah, I'll just keep them. No. Shit. Alright, too late now. I think I wanted to graveyard the op, keep the Brainstorm. But now I can just cast both those and I don't need to value meditate. All right, this is actually fine. I don't want a second reset at this time. Brainstorm, don't screw me here. We had a deal, Brainstorm. I'm so mad at you right now. Okay. Put back Cunning Wish and reset. Now Animate Dead is confirmed. This surgical doesn't feel too bad. I'm at 13 life. I go to 10, I meditate, I go to 7, and I have a million cards in my hand. I think I'd rather do that now than potentially brainstorm my way into a second level of lock. Yeah, they have one card in their hand functionally. Deciding whether to fire off the meditate upkeep or end step is kind of interesting. Like, do I care if they counter it? Then it's just duress, which I also don't mind. Okay, end step, meditate. I'll take 4 cards, please. At the cost of 3 damage. Deal. 4 is so many cards for 3 mana. What a magic card that is. They're thinking about it. Yeah, they don't like that one. Sure. I'll take the duress too. Alright, I'm through my brainstorm lock. Now I'm going to use the other brainstorm. Okay, this is not a brainstorm lock. It is, however, not that great. I'm going to put back Island Surgical with the intention of considering away the surgical. Or I can dress down and draw it if it seems appropriate. Or casting a troll. Mana number 6. It's here. They're going hellbent to put lethal on board. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'm not going to dig for anything here. I'm just going to decide if Cunning Wish is better than Consider. I can snap the troll off Cunning Wish, which will buy me 1 more turn, but then I have to redraw this surgical. Or no, I don't. I can Consider in my upkeep still, clear the surgical, but then I don't have Cunning Wish when I need it, or a win condition, but I think it's worth more turns this way. All right, I am going to wish for snap. Wait, let me just make sure snap's in the sideboard. I just looked, but I didn't actually verify. Yeah, okay. It is there. Yes, get snap. And then in my upkeep, I'm going to consider. I don't want surgical. You want land, and I'd love a high tide here. Mission briefing. Is that a high tide? It's not currently. No. All right. Okay. I'm gonna snap on their upkeep. I don't know if that matters, but it doesn't hurt. It neither hurts nor helps, upkeep or any other time. Okay, bought myself a turn here. I'm probably just gonna dress down now for a card. We're in the squeeze. And I can brief snap to buy another turn as well. Okay, dress down. See if I find a interactive spell. Nope, not one that's useful. Okay, deck. Bummer. Okay, I guess I brief snap now. I am running out of options here. Or I could go to my end step. But if I draw a land, I'm gonna regret not main phasing the dress down. All right, I'm gonna main phase dress down. I did hit a land, but I can't use it because grief is 3/2. Tough beats. I'm gonna keep that in hand in case I end up brainstorming. Oh wait, now I can't brief snap. Tilt. All right. Or I would have to reset to brief snap. Yeah, I needed to snap first and then dress down if I wanted to make this line safely. Yeah, that's rough. Okay. Yeah, we're 27 cards into our deck and haven't seen a single copy of a 4 of, so that's what I was talking about, where this feels like a casual commander deck where you need a critical mass of lands, a high tide, a reset, and then more stuff to do, whether it's multiple meditates, multiple Cunning Wishes, mission briefing to refire, reset. This is a 5-6 card combo by the end of the day, and it's really hard to get it going, and especially if your opponent is doing something like grief scamming, good luck. And then once in a while you just have a natural Magic the Gathering run bad where you don't see a high tide at all in half your deck. Woof. Let's hope to turn this one around. We did have a sweet combo turn last game though. Let's go. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. On the play for round number 4, I got a double High Tide Brainstorm set up here. Keep it. A Windswept Teeth. Okay. Are we getting Tundra with this, or are we getting Forest with this? Can I get an easy one? Okay, Forest. Noble Hierarch. This could represent turn 2 Teferi. I hate it. Mavericks out there these days. There's some stuff that this could be. My whole deck's instant, so I don't need to like brainstorm now in case it's Ponder. Could be Mavericks. Could be some Bant Stoneblade deck with True Name Nemesis. Basic Forest, Basic Plains, Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. And that card sucks, but that's why Dress Down's in the deck. Dress Down is just one card that turns off all of this sort of nonsense from an opponent all at once. I'm going to get rid of the 4th land, and I think Mission Briefing's really important. Dress Down actually just became essential to my plan. I think it's 2 lands. Like, I do need lands, but also... yeah, this is annoying. I'm going to need 3 mana to play Dress Down, and then enough mana to keep it going from there. It's going to be tough. And another thing that Spiral Tide can do that Solidarity can't do, Spiral Tide can spend 3 to end step a Dress Down, untap with all their resources available. Solidarity has to Dress Down on their turn, and then continue on their turn, on the same turn. You have to untap manually. The mechanism of the untap step is not available to you because you're trying to play at instant speed. Unless I find myself in a spot where I can win without reset. Oh no, a Lord of the Rings. When Frodo or legendary creatures enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. As long as Frodo is your ring bearer, it must be blocked. Okay. You've got a Frodo. This is also... so this is a matchup where being Solidarity instead of Spiral Tide is a huge beating. Also, it's a matchup where having a single non-basic land in your deck is a beating. And right now, it's lined up that that's going to be my thing. Gaddock Teague, actually, fine. Turns off Force of Will, but I'm not really doing that anyway. They've immediately tempted the ring twice, which means they're going to get to start looting when they attack with Thalia. They loot, and they're exalted. They looted away Wasteland. That's nice. I hope that means they think it's not important, not that they have multiples. Oh, drew the card that is turned off by Gaddock Teague. Perfect. Everything's going to plan. That's not a Wasteland. Cool. Marin of Clan Neltoth. That I don't care about. It does tempt the ring. Level 3 on the ring doesn't matter in this matchup. Level 2 and 4 are the important ones. So they get me for 5 here. And then they connect for 5, 6, 7, 8 next turn. And if they tempt the ring with any legendary creature, I die. So I can't afford to meditate here. So we're literally just dying because we're Solidarity. If this was Spiral Tide, I would just end step this Dress Down, untap, easily win. Because I'm dead on board, maybe I have to end step the Dress Down anyway, and then just try to like Tide do something. I don't know. All right, well, I'm doing it. There's the reset. Giant middle finger. Yeah, didn't draw the land here. Yeah, what do I even do? This is a nightmare. Trying to figure out, like, getting up to 7 mana or 10 mana with Cunning Wish. Let's actually pause and do the math here. So High Tide costs 1. That's 1 land gone. The second land taps for 2. You can play another High Tide with 1 floating. The third land then gets you up to 4 mana. The fourth land gets you up to 7. The fifth land gets you up to 10. With 5 lands in play, you can High Tide, Cunning Wish, Hunting Pack. So I'm actually closer than it seems to doing that. And the Teague is off right now. I don't think I can do anything here. Like Cunning Wish, Chain of Vapor, Bounce Thalia, force her on the way back down. Maybe that's my line. And I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, I can't force her on the way back down because Teague will be back on. And this Cunning Wish wasn't in my hand a turn ago, or else I could have Chain of Vapor, set up a multi-turn, Chain of Vapor, wish for Chain. Nope, even that's a 5-man. 6 mana line without dress down in play. But yeah, we're just dead. Poseidus Chihuahua. I promise I'm not trying to harsh on your deck. I'm trying to be helpful because that's why people send decks to me. I think if you are set on playing High Tide in your upcoming tournament, you should look into owning some Time Spirals. Because this is going really rough. Or if you're set on Solidarity, cut the Growth Spirals, put in Turnabouts, and try to be mono blue. Or at least make the green splash much smaller. Like, you can keep one Tropical Island in the deck, I guess, and have some Veil of Summers, because that card has been great, both on the Cunning Wish and on the sideboard in. But the rest of it is just super clunky. Got to mulligan this one lander. And no cantrips, no real plan here. Okay, here we go. I'm going to keep this in bottom Growth Spiral. And they did show us Black Mana game 1. We should assume Bowmasters is in this pile as well. Consider, I'll take the land. I'm going to brainstorm now. Okay, I do have Force of Will. Get rid of this Tropical Island. I can't get rid of another land. It's Meditate or Mission Briefing. I think I'd rather have Meditate in the mix. I'm going to have to force Thalia because I've made it clear I can't beat that card. I felt so smart when they cast Thalia last game and Dress Down was in my hand before fully realizing the extent of how not helpful that was. Oh, we have Thoughtseizes. Alright, sure. Thoughtseize me. I think this takes reset, unless they have a banger that shuts the game down. Like if they strip Force and then go land Thalia, then that's a game-winning line as well. Stripping Meditate, interesting. Delighted Halfwilling. Uh-oh. I mean, this deck's not going to cast Teferi on me, but Thalia almost as bad. Don't need another island right now. Force. Oh, why is Force Negation in my deck? Probably should have worded that out. For literally anything. There's Dress Down. Maybe I should be putting Kahira in hand versus holding up Force of Negation in case they do Green Sun Zenith or Thoughtseize or something. I still think Force is better. And Kahira as a juke, like I'm not gonna coast to coast with my 3/2 Vigilance. They have bigger creatures than me. I don't think Kahira should be the companion. I don't think you should splash green. Oh, rewarded. This might not get better. I'm taking it. And I'm not gonna walk into Wasteland. Super interesting that they Zenith for 0 in the spot when they could have Zenith for 2. Okay, that's why. Yep, they were planning to Thalia. Okay, Thalia's annoying. Also uncounterable. Okay, now I have nothing going on. I'm going to grab the Kahira. There's Wasteland. Glad I've been playing around that. It does make Kahira uncastable, though. Unless I fetch both my drops at the same time, shove Kahira, and hope it works. Voice of Resurgence. Have you read the cards in my deck? Whenever I cast a spell on my opponent's turn, they get a creature that has power and toughness equal to their creatures. Wild. I mean, luckily that doesn't matter. Like if I start casting spells on their turn, then we're doing it. Oh, I think Dress Down kills that. Or no, does it? Is it a base 0/0, or is this just a quality of the card? I don't know. We'll find out soon. I think it will die. Like a star, even Tarmogoyf is 0/1 in play. Like stars are 0 under Dress Down in play, I think. Because constructs are printed 0/0s with an ability that makes them survive. A star is a little different than a 0/0. But I think they work the same under Dress Down. Grist. I for sure don't care about that card. Okay, so Dress Down costs 3. After I Dress Down, High Tide costs 1, and then Reset is 1 land. So we are in the range where I could get something going here. I'm going to main phase this Opt because of the voice. And Flusterstorm and Force still in my deck versus creature strategies. It's a tough beat. I needed that Opt to deliver, because now even with the damage they have on board, even if I draw a High Tide this turn, it doesn't do anything. I would need Dress Down to spike exactly Cunning Wish or Meditate, and then that has to keep the game going. I don't even think Cunning Wish does it there. Okay, I'm dead on board. I can't dress down in the end step even for the cantrip because then I don't do anything. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I just have to play to the runner of upkeep, dress down, or in my end step I would dress down, then we go to their turn. Their creatures have no abilities. That dress down, the dress down plus my draw step have to come up with High Tide plus action spell of Meditate or Mission Briefing or maybe Cunning Wish, but probably not. Okay, well, let's go to my turn, and I guess this is a fetch because it's now or never situation. Can't get something wastable, not even Mystic Sanctuary. All right, well, there's Briefing. So if I end step this dress down and it's High Tide, we have a puncher's chance. End step dress down. All right, this draw has to be High Tide. Beginning and end of story. And the winner is Misty Rainforest. We're dead. I could natural reset, which nets me 1 mana. It takes me from 2 mana to 3. Or no, it takes me from 2 mana. Oh no, I do get all of them. Right, yeah, duh. 5, which can Mission Briefing for Meditate, which I would then be tapped out even if I find the thing. Okay, yeah, just a glass cannon of emotions here. On to the final round. Let's fend off a reverse trophy. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy to create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe. I'm on the play for the final round. I've got 2 of my 6 pieces in my hand and brainstorm to find the rest. Let's try it. Got a Marsh Flats from the opponent. I'm just going to keep playing my lands. I'll probably brainstorm this turn unless they make me do something else. Wasteland, cool. I can play around that for a while. I hope. This Mystic Sanctuary in my hand just became a huge stinker. I'm going to brainstorm in response to this fetch so I don't get Bowmastered. Uh-oh. Well, sad times. I think I keep the Mystic Sanctuary, at least tax their Wasteland in case I brick here. I suspect this is a Bowmaster deck. I'm going to get rid of Flusterstorm and Growth Spiral. There's a black-white Bowmaster value Dead Guy Al kind of thing that's kicking around, and I suspect this is what we're dealing with. Oh, Spirit of the Lab. That one is even worse than everything we've played against so far. And this one is more susceptible to dress down than Thalia is, so that's good news, I guess, but yikes. Now I need to use dress down just to even start cantripping to look for more things. Yeah, nice considered. I can still draw 1 card a turn, so I can consider on their turn. That's actually not that bad. Consider an opt to beat Spirit of the Lab. And I'm going to consider now before they can Bowmaster. Growth Spiral to the graveyard. And Brainstorm is a brick. Arrakis. Aether Vial. Yeah, this does look like Death and Taxes with Bowmaster in it. Ugh. Once again, I don't want to play all the same notes that I played last round all over again, but this is exactly the situation where with Dress Down in my hand and 3 mana, I would just be like, whatever, homie. I got you dead in 2 turns. Not even worried. But instead, I'm extremely worried, and I don't think I can win this game. And with this Wasteland on top of all of it, if I had drawn land here, I could dress down for 3, turn off the 2 things, brainstorm, and at least try to do something. I am destroyed here, completely slain. The closest thing to a plan that I have is end step dress down, turn off the spirit, untap, do some cantripping, try to set up a win for 2 turns after that. But this non-basic land in my deck that could be mono blue if I wanted it to be. Hanging out there for that wasteland to enjoy. Just feast on that. I guess I'm going to dress down for the emergency cantrip here. Time to consider. I believe it is safe to concede this game. I'll play another turn or two just so the play it out weirdos in the comments are satisfied, but I think I am damn near deterministically dead here. If I cheated and made all my next draw steps perfect. Okay, definitely not mission briefing. Yeah, this cannot be done from this position. Woof. Okay, so if our land was not wastable and if dress down did what we needed it to do, we would have been okay there. I would have been very comfortable in that game with Spiral Tide, but instead we're dead. Snap comes into the deck, Chain of Vapor comes into the deck, Force of Negations and Flusterstorms. Definitely Flusterstorms. Force's got to go too. Force of Vigor comes in. First appearance of that card, but Aether Vial and Spirit of the Labyrinth are all targets for that. The dress down is awkward, but also it is one of the better tools we have. Oracle's Recall can mess up Aether Vial. I don't think I want that though. Okay, this is what I got. I'll keep this hand. It has 4 basic lands and some selection. And the thing I'm going to need, and I'm going to need minimum 5 lands on my dress down turn. That's how all this works. Basic planes, Aether Vial, I'm going to consider in response. I don't think I force this even if I find it, but might as well make my selections. Found a reset, I'll do that. Or I'll hold on to that. Brainstorm. High Tide, Force of Vigor. Okay, this is a game where Kahira might be relevant. I don't think so. I might have to just ignore Force of Vigor. All right, if I put back Force of Vigor land, this gives me a route. I have the magic number. There's a land on top of my deck if I choose to keep it, which I don't think I will, for the record. But 5 mana, 3 for dress down, 1 for high tide, 1 for reset, and then we can start Cunning Wishing. The line to deconstruct a pile of hate bears is here. And there's the Thalia, so we are going to need it. Do I want that land on top? Or do I want to shuffle, mix some spells up, and deal with that land later? I think I want to take the shuffle. I don't really want Force of Vigor. Second dress down, okay. I can use one of these to cantrip. I think I'll end step a dress down, try to have a development turn with some cantrips and stuff, and then plan for the big win 1 or 2 turns after that. Rashad Port. All right, well, now I need 6 lands to execute this plan. I could also Cunning Wish in response to them porting me. This vial also represents Bowmasters at this point. Meditate. Oh, do I want to take a turn off to meditate? I can meditate or I can Cunning Wish right now. I'm at 17. Time Walk Me Daddy. Okay, that's tapped. Draw for my turn, play a land. Snap is pretty cool, maybe. And I might as well fire the Brainstorm in. This is not getting better. Alright, Gross Spiral. Still bad. But it is a spell. And I have plenty of lands. Okay. I'm going to discard one of the lands. I probably should have kept Gross Spiral to discard it. Yeah, what am I even doing? That was the discard. My brain is not built for how many things I need to track in this game. They have a Vial in the end step. Samwise. Fizzles. Just a 2/1 body. Oh wait, is it up to 1? Okay, so you do still get to tempt the ring. Sure. Scalding Tarn and Misty Rainforest get discarded. I wish that was Gross Spiral. I messed this up. They get to bash for 4 this turn, and then whatever they can deploy on the next, and then they get to Rashad and port me. I'm already at functionally 9. Recruiter, terrifying. I'm at functionally 8. That card cannot be played this turn. File's on 3. Well, that's good news. Okay. Sitting at 8 on board. They did not activate the Vial. I think they did that backwards. They were supposed to Vial in Recruiter and then cast Stoneforge, and then they just beefed it. Like that Vial sitting there unactivated on 3 after they spent mana on Recruiter Guard. Luckily for them, I don't think it matters. That was a pretty big misstep. Yeah, this Rashad port is just really cramping my style. I have the 5. I have the Dress Down, High Tide Reset. Even have a Snap to keep the party running. I guess I could Snap Thalia with the thing they port. But if they fizzle Snap by bouncing Caracas, that's actually more mana it costs me than if they just have Thalia in play. Okay, I get a turn now. They tutored up Caldra. I am dead on board. Please tap Caracas. Oh, they tap nothing. Interesting. If they port in my end step, I actually get to do everything I want to do. Please pass into my end step. Pass into my end step. Don't second main it. Don't second main it. We're in my end step. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. Okay. Because they went in the end step, I get to dress down for their turn. And I'm going to fetch here because I know my top card is a land that's not going to help right now. Okay. We've got a chance, team. I don't know if it's a good one, but we're in there. They have multiple non-legendary creatures I can snap. And nothing that comes out of the Vial matters because of Dress Down. Cauldron doesn't matter. I'm going to let them commit to their attack. Maybe I was supposed to fetch Trop on that last fetch land and make a bunch of beasts in combat. Maybe that's how I win this one. Alright, I don't know. We're about to find out. I have 2 Cunning Wishes. Oh, right. Porting me in response to High Tide also kills me. Fuck. Alright, yep. Forgot about that one. Tilt. Alright. A proper 05. I've talked about it throughout the league, but I believe there is metagame positioning issues with choosing Solidarity as a deck, and then there are fundamental problems with how this Solidarity deck is built. So we're kind of 2 steps deep into the shitter. If you want to play High Tide, I recommend Mono Blue, Spiral Tide. Dress Down is an incredible tool that deck got, but this deck, as we saw in the last 2 rounds versus Athalia, Dress Down doesn't work as well as it does versus Spiral Tide. You just get your 3rd land, end step the Dress Down, and then you win easily. That is not how this works, because you need 3 mana up front to start the Dress Down party. Yuck. The Growth Spiral just isn't good. In order to Growth Spiral effectively, you have to have enough lands that you're hitting the land drop, because blue-green draw card is a bad card, just on all metrics. We don't play 1 blue draw card. The multiple cards exist like that, and we don't play them. We're not even playing the full set of ops, which is much better than 1 blue draw card. So blue-green draw card, forget about it, terrible. And this is a 19-land deck. In order to grow Spiral, you're incentivized to fetch green early, which exposes you to Wasteland, which is devastating for this deck because Wasteland isn't 1 for 1. It's 1 for X, where X is how many High Tides you played times number of times you untap the land on your combo turn. A turn 1 Wasteland might be good for 5, 10, 20 mana, depending on how long the game goes. So just exposing yourself to green, and for what we get, I think the Growth Spiral is just worse than making your land drops naturally. Just play some cantrip here, play some piece of interaction here, main deck a couple snaps. Like this could be better used on basic islands. The Veil of Summer is the only green card I'm really excited about here. Sail into the West. We used that a couple times, but I think it's because we had to, because of the structural problems of the deck, not because it's actually good. Force of Vigor, like, hard to replace that, but a pair of Brazen Borrowers, like bounce that Chalice, whatever you're worried about here, without warping your deck. And Tahira as a 3/2 that we're just never ever going to cast, eating up a spot in the sideboard of a Cunning Wish deck. This is a massive cost to deck building. Those of you watching this thinking I'm being harsh, I'm not. I'm just being honest. Poseidus and I work together in the Patreon space, the Patreon Discord, like we have a rapport, and this is tournament prep. He has a tournament coming up in October and wanted me to run this deck before that, and I'm glad I did. I don't think you should play this deck, Poseidus Chihuahua. Move it to sorcery speed, move it to 1 color. If you can't do both of those things, at least do one of them. That's my professional diagnosis on what's going on here. Veil of Summer was great. We had 1 cool game with Hunting Pack. We had 1 cool game with Sail into the West. Otherwise, the deck was largely non-functional. We need some turnabouts in here. We need more than just reset to move up the mana chain. It's not enough. And that's where I'm going to leave this. It was a lot of fun to play. I do like working out these puzzles, even if I fail to solve them more often than not. Poseidus Chihuahua, thank you for sharing this deck. I'm granting a Thomas Edison Award of learning what didn't work. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon, check out the sponsors, everything that supports the channel, and I'll see you next time.